Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Alley Cat Creations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, a connect, dot, an epiphany, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork to create, please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description of this video. alisonkatz211.com is where you can see paintings like these, the paint and sip paintings, craft and sip artwork that I make, pyramids, all different sizes, gems, galore, candles, smells really good in here, and all the other things that I create or get commissioned to do. It's all up there on my portfolio. And if you're interested in any of it, please email me. That's the best way to do commerce with me. And lastly, another really great way to support me is 3D and 4D memberships. 3D is just as good as 4D. You guys get channel member only content. You're getting oracle readings 4 times a month. They're over an hour long with all the oracle cards, spirit dropping in and giving me some good stuff to guide you on your expanded journey to ascend. So join me over there. I also have raffles. 3D, you get 1 entry. 4D, you get 2 entries. And 4D gets exclusive access to me racking my brain and doing presentations that I will eventually be making coursework on so that I can help people heal or go through their shadow work, which is ego death, dark night of the soul, all that fun stuff that we don't like to tackle about ourselves, your why questions, timelines, and all that fun stuff is going to be there. So make sure if you're interested in that and just getting previews and joining along in the conversation, 4D is where it's at. So I want to thank each and every one of you who are already channel members, but for those who can't afford it or just can't, it's okay. We love you too. This community is a healing, loving, and serving of others community. So today I'm going to do a quantum AI and metaphysical ponderings. I just did paint and sip. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I'm a little bit under the weather. I also have a lot going on physically that I'm dealing with. Never ends, right? It never ends. But there has been a lot of really good articles or little snippets on Facebook that I like to collect. And it's just mind expansion. You don't need to believe in any of it. It's just allowing yourself to get out of your own way for a little bit, getting your mind expanded, getting some new ideas, and taking the journey of doing that for yourself. I'm not here to dictate to you how you view, feel, or experience reality. Spirit must be here. Spirit did move a oracle card yesterday, and that was a reset re-glitch. I don't know what's going on. There's something maybe over there. I don't have my REM pod plugged in. It dropped the other day and the battery fell out. But hi Spirit, welcome. So let's get into it. I found this very interesting. Accidents happen. That's what happened. That's what everyone says. But in the quantum universe, there are not such things as accidents, only possibilities and potentialities folded into existence by perception. So events and things have occurred, especially in my life in the last 2 weeks, that perception-wise, people are either seeing me as the devil in the story or the angel, as the helper or as the detriment. it's a very interesting paradigm to have seen that and to wanting to unfold that personally. I can't stop anybody from experiencing what they feel, but the full unfolded truth is not there. Um, what are you perceiving? Are you going into your heart space? Are you asking questions? So when anything happens in your life, make sure you are taking the 360 viewpoint, the whole circle around the room, and seeing it from different lenses and different avenues, feeling it from different perspectives, seeing it from different perspectives, because the one story being projected should not be the only thing taken into account, because the things in the middle of the room stay the same. It's just how you view it changes. And there are solid facts and there's solid things that perception wise you could see or not see. But it's up to you to take that expanded viewpoint and see the full picture. If you're not getting the full picture and you're only allowing one source of information to dictate to you your reality, you're going to have a long haul of a stair-stepping process to evolve. And I'm not trying to be mean in that statement. It's just when you're got the horse blinders on and you're not expanding your thinking, you're not seeing outside or other viewpoints. That's what an empath usually does. We're jumping in other people's situations, we're feeling them, we're seeing them, and then we get the larger picture of why people are reacting the way that they do. We see the feelings get involved. If you detach your feelings and see it from a holistic, natural, neutral center, that also changes perception. So I like that a lot. It speaks a lot about what's been going on with me. Um, but I can't win them all. And for anybody who views me in a negative capacity of doing harm, uh, you don't need to be a part of my life or anything about me. I know I'm going to continue this because the character assassination is continuing, and I'm just taking the high road, but I just need to, this is what a part of my channel is my journey. You have to move through what you're being fed and see the bigger picture and understand what reality is asking us to look at. And character assassination is brutal sometimes, but I'm going through it for a reason, and that's to purge people that no longer belong in my paradigm. So if you're going through stuff like that, let it go. I'm releasing it. I'm very devastated and sad, and there's no amount of saying sorry at this point that will fix anything. But you live, you learn, you grow, right? For the first little article here, studies show simulating our entire universe would violate energy or computational constraints. I found this very interesting and I wanted to share it, but read it with you guys. For decades, we've asked, what if everything you see is just a simulation? New physics research now suggests that possibly isn't science fiction. It's nearly impossible. From energy demands that dwarf the cosmos to mathematical truths no algorithm can encode, the universe refuses to be just code. Every galaxy, every quantum flicker, every law demands more than computation. It demands non-algorithmic reality. That doesn't mean mysteries vanish. It means our universe is real in a deeper sense. So they say here in the little comment section, astrophysical constraints on the simulation hypothesis for the universe 2025 shows that even reproducing a fraction of our reality via simulation would require energy and computing resources beyond that physics allows. In maybe classical physics. What about quantum physics? Maybe. Another from the University of British Columbia argues that aspects of reality exist beyond algorithmic computation. Right, because it depends on what density and dimension you are speaking of. And the many worlds interpretation of everything. You can't knock any potentiality and possibility out because in this one reality we're all experiencing simultaneously, it may not be a simulation, it may be a hologram, but it can be a combination of all things because our thoughts create reality. I know it's mind warping. And in other words, the fabric of reality isn't run by code, it is. Simply put, if we aren't the simulation, then we are living in something far more fascinating than a game. And yes, do I believe it's a computer simulation? The matrix is coded, but is it coded from the source itself? Are we looking at it from hard science and not metaphysics? There are a lot of questionable things in our reality when many of us have been experiencing the glitches. I had a glitch just now happen. A lot of us are seeing the ones and zeros in things. We're seeing pixelation in nature. I mean, we are glitching out. It's 3D ending, and we're already in 4 consciously, but are we moving and merging into 4 physically? And that's why we're experiencing the glitches and seeing things that are not necessarily absolute in our reality. They're not material just yet. They're formulating. We can beg the question time and time again. But if we actually made God the computer, the computational skills would be there. It's infinite. But if we were to think on a narrow scale and look down at what we have in our reality currently, no, a normal computer could not even start to begin computing the simulation. I don't think so. There's too many variables, qubits of information, trillions, however you measure shit. It's too big because it'd have to upload and fix itself every nanosecond because things change. You move, the simulation moves with it. You're a vibrating piece of the universe. Just interesting things to expand your mind with. Next we have this. The brain cannot distinguish imagination from reality. Every vivid thought reinforces the same neural circuits as real experiences. This is pretty interesting. Your mind is rewriting reality every time you imagine vividly. Neuroscientists reveal a fascinating truth about the human brain. It cannot fully distinguish between imagination and real life experience. Every vivid thought, daydream, or mental rehearsal activates the same neural circuits that actual experiences do. When you picture yourself giving a speech, running a marathon, or even savoring a delicious meal in your mind, your brain responds almost as if you were really doing it. This discovery shows why visualization can be so powerful. Athletes, musicians, and performers often practice mentally, running through routines or scenarios without moving a muscle, yet they strengthen the exact neural pathways needed for success. Similarly, Imagining positive outcomes can build confidence, sharpen skills, and improve problem solving. Our thoughts literally shape the wiring of our brains, reinforcing habits, memories, and skills just as physical experiences do. The implications go even deeper. Mental rehearsal could be used in therapy to retain the brain after injury or to overcome fears. Creative visualization can enhance learning and memory, showing that the boundary between mind and reality is more flexible than we thought. On the flip side, persistent negative or fearful thoughts can reinforce stressful circuits, highlighting why mindfulness and mental focus are so crucial. Discover the Universe invites you to reflect on the power of your own imagination. Every time you vividly imagine a goal, a skill, or a new experience, your brain is quietly preparing you to make it real. Your mind is not just a recorder of reality, it's an architect capable of shaping your brain, your habits, and even your destiny. The power to strengthen your inner world is in every thought, and that's truth, both inspiring and transformative. And yes, that's what the spiritual community is telling you constantly. That's nothing the farce. You create your reality by the things you think of. But there are things in your soul contract you cannot escape from. It's how you react to them that shifts the potentialities and possibilities of how things run next. This is why when Carlos Castaneda or Neville Goddard talks about recapitulation, about something negative that happened during your day or things outside of your control affecting you and your stress levels, it's going into your daydream, your imagination, and going through your day or the event as if that accident, that bad thing never took place. And instead injecting something different that finishes out your day, and that it finishes out your day in a better way. Reality transurfing, stuff of that nature. These are modalities to help you recapitulate your thinking, balancing your mind, but that's your brain as well because you are an electric being. So all these things are circuits within you that you have the power to control. Now, like I said, you are bound by a contract. Even if you ripped it up tomorrow, certain things have to play out in your life. Certain people, certain events, certain things have to happen because that is your soul growth and nothing supersedes those things. And you and your higher self will determine in any of those catalysts what will serve you next and what will not. Every time you time leap, you quantum jump into a new timeline, the different wavelengths, the algorithms, the patterns of those catalysts change. Maybe you already learned the lesson and all you need to do is have something to spur it up to release it and to finally learn from it. Maybe something comes in and you were supposed to learn it this way. You elevated and now it's not going to happen that way. It's going to happen in a different way. Everything is vibrating and everything shifts. Catalyst shift. Events in your life shift. It's up to you to determine how you are balancing out your mindset. It's okay to experience pain and suffering and all the negativities that happen to a human. These things are happening for a reason. We don't like it. I sure damn don't. But it's learning modalities that we wrote in. It's catalyst for a bigger totality for some instances. So what are we learning through these experiences? What are we shaping our minds to be? And for example, last over the summer, me finding out like, okay, so I can't become an art teacher because in the third dimensional space, I don't have the finances. But I saw myself standing in front of the classroom teaching art. I made the curriculum, I made the artwork, I made examples. I was in it to win it until it didn't transpire. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but my plot twist for my own brain was like, okay, so maybe I'm not supposed to be a teacher in that capacity. Maybe I'm supposed to be doing something bigger. So if you have an obstacle that is real finite and material in terms of being in this reality, how do you navigate around things? It's all in the mindset. I'm not giving up. I'm just changing the direction in which I need that manifestation to happen. So you could do this for your own self. You can recapitulate your day. If you had a bad day or you're grumpy or you didn't sleep well or something fell on the floor and your favorite item broke or whatever it is that it went wrong in your day, you can recapitulate it as if it never happened and just go through your day in your imagination as if it wasn't there. And that helps your mind and helps navigate and steer you. So try it. Our next article, still with consciousness theme. Scientists explore the possibility that consciousness exists beyond the brain. For many of us that understand spiritual metaphysics and quantum mechanics and qualia and the collective unconscious conscious, we understand this beyond, but it's helpful to read for those that are still not there yet or convinced. Some scientists are investigating the intriguing idea that human consciousness may not be confined solely to the brain. Observations of out-of-body experiences in certain altered states of awareness suggest that consciousness could extend beyond the physical body, challenging traditional neuroscience assumptions about how the mind and brain are connected. Studies of a near-death experience, meditation, and other phenomena indicate that awareness can persist even when normal sensory input is disrupted. Researchers propose that consciousness may involve more than just neural activity, potentially encompassing energy patterns, quantum process, or other mechanisms not yet fully understood. These ideas are highly speculative, but open up fascinating questions about the nature of self, perception, and reality. I'm going to pause there. We are conduits of energy. We can pass energy through with static electricity. We can be struck by lightning. I demonstrate all the time with the plasma from Spencer's. You could put your hand on the ball and you get in plasma reaching to your finger. You are an electrical being. Electric runs through your system. Therefore, you can channel in your thoughts. Where do your thoughts come from? Where do your epiphanies come from? When I'm in meditation and I am not thinking and I'm just allowing, there is a lot of communication happening between me and the outside paradigm of everything that I'm connected to and entangled to, which is everything by its fractals. And for those who have abilities to project light body, for those of you who know of your other selves, how does that even work? I mean, I can go super deep with this, but let's continue. Exploring consciousness beyond the brain can revolutionize fields ranging from neuroscience and psychology to philosophy and artificial intelligence. If proven, it might help explain experiences that current scientific models struggle to account for, such as intuitive insights, mystical experiences, or the sense of continuous self independent of the body. It can explain remote viewing. It can explain how people are pulling mediumship through, how we're communicating with trees, how we have feelings. We're feeling it. We're not just hearing it, seeing it, sensing it in the tangible reality that we live in the materialistic world. We are experiencing non-materialistic densities and dimensions continuously if you can tune into it. While concrete evidence remains limited, these studies encourage a broader perspective on what it means to be conscious. They highlight the need for interdisciplinary research that combines brain science, physics, and philosophy to probe the true extent of human awareness, potentially reshaping our understanding of life, existence, and the mind's capabilities. Like I've said, if for those of you on more of the scientific terms, please read Irreducible by Federico Fagin. There's plenty of podcasts out there with spiritualists, philosophers, other physicists who are talking quantum, but they're really talking spiritually, merging with the quantum, metaphysics. Boom! It's all the same shit. Spiritual people just have a different verbiage and a language that scientists don't. But we're adapting now. We're hearing more about quantum leaping. We're hearing about timeline shifts, time dilations, time crystals, qubits. We're more open to the scientificness than the scientists are open to the spiritualness. But that's sort of balancing itself out right now. More and more articles and people are coming forward with, yeah, I also had an experience. This is why it is so important for all of us to share our wisdom, our knowledge, however we want to do it. I think it's very important that we get out there because there are so many scientists that have spiritual experiences and they put the self-doubt in there because we give psychology such a limitation. Oh, it's schizophrenia, it's this, it's a that. We like to label things. Sometimes maybe don't give things a label and give it a chance to mature in your mind before you block yourself from finding out the real answers. Open-mindedness. You can be skeptical all day long because a lot of people still need the tangible evidence in this 3D reality to believe. That's okay too. But give yourself a chance. If you've had an experience, you saw a ghost, an alien, you saw the glitches in the paradigm, you see things move and you're like, that's a trick. I showed Maureen the card moving. He's like, well, there could have been a fan on. I'm like, honey, it's cold. No fan. I have the heat on. I don't need a heater. There's nothing that moved that card besides spirit. Energy moved it. And there's many other things that people have seen in my videos that are hopefully showing you that there's things beyond the veil that are behind me that are saying hi. Nothing to be afraid of. Stop fearing because a book told you to fear it. We're overlaid in different dimensional spaces and realities and densities. Fourth astral is here. It's not the prettiest of things, but they're whizzing by right now behind me. I have a sleeping dragon still right there. You have the eyes to see and the feelings to feel. That's all that matters. And if you are still in your development, that's great. Being exposed to this content, being exposed to other people talking about it is going to help you believe in your knowing that it's possible. I thought this was pretty interesting and I was saving it for you guys. I'm going to share my screen. Seek oneness, what God actually is. Now, this is a perception. Please chalk this up to whatever you would like, but I like to give things a chance when it comes to this concept. It is still because it exists everywhere, which makes it omnipresent. It is magnetic because it controls all electrical action and in doing so is omnipotent. It is infinite white light that contains all information, which makes it omniscient. Everything is connected, balanced, and continually regenerated by still magnetic light. We live in a still magnetic light universe. God. God is not a noun, it's a verb. It's energetic, an omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient energy source. And here we have the wavelengths. Here's the chakras. I find this very interesting and intriguing. Many people have done the mathematics on a lot of this stuff about this reality. There's a lot of other people who have mapped out a lot of this stuff. It's just one perception I find very interesting. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Actually, let me read over here. Even approach and answer, we must transcend the limitation of dogma, language, and human perception. The Christian notion of a judgmental deity in the sky, rewarding and punishing, is but a fragment, a distorted shadow of the infinite reality of the divine. God is the source of all that is. God is not a being confined to form, gender, or personality. God is the infinite, eternal source, the creative force that animates all existence. It is the unmanifested potential from which the universe arises and the sustaining presence that flows through every particle of creation. In esoteric terms, it is the all, the one, the eternal consciousness that permeates everything. I agree. This source is not external to you. It is within you as much as it is beyond you. The spark of the divine resides in every soul, every atom, every corner of the cosmos. In essence, you are a fractal of God, an extension of the infinite experiencing itself through your unique perspective. I've been saying that forever. The great goddess and the divine feminine, your connection to the great goddess, the Mother Earth, reflects a profound truth. The divine expresses itself through both masculine and feminine principles, as well as their union. The goddess represents the nurturing, creative, and cyclical aspects of the divine, the womb, from which all life emerges, the earth that sustains us, and the cosmos that cradles our existence. The patriarchy of many religious systems has sought to suppress the divine feminine, leaving humanity disconnected from the sacred balance of creation. By reconnecting with the Mother Earth and honoring her wisdom, you are rediscovering an essential aspect of the divine that calls us back into harmony with nature, intuition, and the sacred rhythms of life. Yet this goddess is not separate from God. They are two faces of the same infinite source. Where the goddess is the eminent presence within creation, the God principle might be seen as the transcendent force beyond it. Together they form the sacred union that births all that is. Beyond anthropomorphism, the idea of God as an old man on a cloud reflects humanity's tendency to anthropomorphize the infinite, reducing the ineffable to something we can comprehend. But the divine cannot be confined to human form or qualities. God is not a judge, a king, or a distant figure meting out rewards and punishments. These are human projections born of fear and desire for control. Instead, think of God as a pure consciousness, an infinite field of energy and intelligence that experiences itself through creation. This field is love, wisdom, and power in their highest, purest forms. It is the interconnected web of existence that unites all things. God is not someone, but rather that everything and nothing, the stillness and the motion, the creator and the creation. Your relationship with the divine. You are absolutely correct to reject the idea of a punitive God. The true divine does not operate on the principles of reward and punishment, but rather on the universal law of cause and effect. Your deeds, thoughts, and intentions shape your reality through the vibrational frequencies you emit. This is not judgment. It is the natural order of the universe responding to your alignment or misalignment with its higher truths. To know God, begin to knowing yourself. Meditate, connect with nature, and listen to the still voice within you. God is not outside of you. It is the very essence of your being. Every act of love, compassion, and creativity is an expression of the divine. When you embrace your own divinity, you will find God everywhere, in the sunrise, the ocean, the laughter of children, and the silence of the stars. A holistic understanding of God. To integrate your understanding of the divine, God is the infinite source, both immanent within creation and transcendent beyond it. The great goddess is the divine feminine, a vital aspect of the source that nurtures, creates, and sustains life. The divine is not a person, but the all-encompassing consciousness that expresses itself through every form and being. To experience God, one must look within and align with the higher vibration of love, unity, and creation. As you deepen your connection with the great goddess, remember that she is an entry point to the infinite. Through her, you are already touching the divine. Let go of any need to define God through human limitations and embrace the mystery. For it is in the surrender to the mystery that true wisdom and connection are found. You are not separate from God. You are a reflection of the infinite, a drop of the divine ocean experiencing itself. In knowing this, you will find that the divine is not something to believe in, but something to be experienced, lived, and embodied in every moment. That right there is the cookie that I align with heavily. I heart align with a lot, all of that. And I express it with different language, but I say the same things pretty much. There's alignments. That there are certain truths that some of us believe in and some of us don't, and that's okay. It's the way you perceive it, the way you embody it, the way you represent yourself as divine. If you walked your righteous path, even when things do go awry and negative things happen, it's again your reactions to it. And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to, it's just in your reactionary point. Are you judging, shaming, and blaming, or are you figuring out facts? Are you figuring out intent? Are you figuring out these components that make up a soul? And if you're not, I would work on that. It's something to work on. We sit and judge and shame and blame and human labels and pointing fingers, and it's all you playing out different roles. So when you're triggered by somebody's right or wrong action, why was the action made right or wrong for your perception? The universe is very wonky and weird sometimes and throws us for left fields. And it's up to the will of intention of others to see the righteousness or the wrongness. Either way, are you looking? Are you asking? Are you going within? Or are you hating, judging, shaming, and blaming everything outside of you to, that's why the world is the way it is. Well, why do you think that way? What are you doing to change it? Are you could talk and project all day long. Are you walking the righteous path? It's up to each and every one of you to do that. Walk the righteous path. It's up to each and every one of us to do the best works we can in the moment that we have. And sometimes what we think not, or we know not, is at a level of wavelength that we're vibrating at. Nothing is perfect, and that's the way it's designed. Things happen to learn from. Are we learning? Or are we just wish-washing away all the lessons that we should be learning and projecting it on shame and blame, pointing fingers? You can have all the knowledge in the world, but are you looking at the mirror at yourself? Are you asking the hard questions? Things to ponder. Here's another goodie for all of you. I'm excited about this one. Scientists propose deja vu might be parallel universe crossover, where your other self experiences the same moment. That's amazing. Whoa. You know that eerie feeling that something completely new feels strangely familiar? Scientists are now giving deja vu a mind-bending twist. A new theory suggests it could be more than a brain glitch. It might be a momentary crossover between you and your parallel self in another universe or in another parallel dimension. My estimation. According to this data, deja vu occurs when two versions of you existing in slightly different realities briefly align. See, and this hits with quantum time leaping and going to your highest timeline. The same event happens in both worlds at once, and your consciousness flickers between them. That flicker feels like recognition, a whisper from another life where you've already lived that instant. Some researchers link this to quantum entanglement, where particles remain connected across space and time. If the universe is a vast network of probabilities, deja vu might be a signal of those threads momentarily syncing. Others argue it's the brain's way of processing overlapping memories, but even that doesn't explain why you feel so profoundly real. Imagine each deja vu as a cosmic glitch, a second of alignment where the boundaries between universes blur, just enough for you to sense another version of yourself watching the same moment unfold. Maybe deja vu isn't confusion. Maybe it's confirmation that reality isn't as linear as we think. Yes! Yes! Look at all these little bubble pocket universes that exist, in my estimation. So Dolores Cannon gives us a vague, not vague, but a broader paintbrush of the split. 3D, 5D, New Earth. Bashar is talking about different realities that we can jump onto. Neville Goddard and a couple of others have spoken about these. Getting to your optimal timeline. Well, what does that mean? You're already there, living in the moment in a different reality. And what's happening with deja vu is that we're elevating to these other states that we have already lived those potentialities and possibilities. We went onto that timeline where we're experiencing it twice because we already did it up there. We're doing it now here. That's the timeline we chose. And that bleed through is when we feel that, like, wait a second, I feel like I did this before. I feel like I've been here before. That's because you have been there, but not in this body embodiment. You were there in another reality in your other self, playing it out maybe 5-10 years ago. But this body is now catching up to that timeline. You're merging onto this where this person already did it. Now you're merging, you time leaped, and you're like, oh, do I feel like I've been here before? You get glimpses, feelings. They're weird. I've experienced deja vu a whole bunch in my life. And this article absolutely blows my mind. It is putting like terminology and making it make sense, even to me. It's phenomenal. A lot of people have experienced deja vu, and I think it's been happening a lot more, I think, in the collective because we are optimally choosing higher timelines where these things, the our other selves living this better life, or maybe not, but whatever we're jumping to and merging with has already played it out. Now it's our turn to play it out, and that's why I feel so familiar. It's a bleed over, or it's the merging of that energy, and that's the touch point where it happens. Anything is possible, but it's really interesting to think about, for sure. I found some good stuff this week, and I wanted to do this before I start with the cycle of books. This is scientists suggest time might be an illusion emerging from quantum entanglement. Yes! Linear time. A provocative new theory proposes that time may not be a fundamental aspect of the universe, but rather an emergent phenomenon arising from quantum entanglement. According to scientists exploring the frontiers of quantum physics, what we perceive as a flow of time could result from the relationships between particles rather than being an intrinsic property of space-time itself. If we go back to the Ra book, The Law of One, and Ra distinguishes time, space, time. They're two different things. In classical I love how they phrase this. In classical physics, time is treated as a continuous dimension along which events occur. However, quantum theory challenges this notion, suggesting that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously and become entangled across distances. Researchers theorize that the correlations between entangled particles create the appearance of temporal progression, meaning time could emerge as a microscopic illusion from a microscopic interaction. If correct, this perception has profound implications for our understanding of reality, causality, and the universe's origin. It may also reshape the way we approach cosmology, quantum mechanics, and even the concept of consciousness, which relies on the experience of sequential events. Scientists caution that these ideas are still largely theoretical and require further experimental validation, but they open a fascinating window into the nature of reality. This line of research challenges deeply held assumptions and encourages a re-examination of what we consider fundamental, suggesting that the universe may be far stranger and more interconnected than our everyday perception of time allows us to imagine. Yes! In this reality, in the here and now moment, it is 8:49 p.m., 11:02. This is linear time space that I am talking from. But even Bashar talks about time as an illusion. Ra talks about time is different in different wavelengths, vibrational frequencies, oscillations. We all experience time differently. Some people experience time going by really, really quickly for them. The day flew by, and others feel it went too slow. We just had the clock change today in the United States, and everybody's going to wake up really funky tomorrow, like, what the hell happened? This happens every time we have a time change. Linear space-time. But time is not conceived the same in spirit land in sixth density. When our family members and animals transcend, they go into a different time continuum, a different dimensional space, a different energetic boundary that inhabits different types of energy, and time is not the same. when a medium or a psychic is giving you time in their assumptions of what will or could potentially happen to you, could it? If my dad and mom were saying, "Oh, you're going to get married by 40," they never said that, by the way. But if my parents did say that, like I'm already 42 and I'm not, like their conception of time, perception of time is not the same as here. If you were to go out into thus called one of the realities that have planets and spaceships, many worlds interpretation, and you are going to the moon or you're going to other places and you come back, time is a different construct up there than it is down here. It boggles the mind, but it's where we're headed, and I'm really excited that they're finally like, hey, like time is simultaneously happening. Your past, present, and future is already set. It's already happening. It's just what delineation of time space or dimensional space or density are you jumping onto to get to that other time? Space, space, time. It's a lot to ponder, but it is something very interesting. And I love expanding my mind this way. Here's another one. Near a black hole, time itself slows, turning minutes into centuries. I was just talking about how things are distorted, and reality into a cosmic illusion of gravity. I don't necessarily believe in gravity, by the way, just personal. Time doesn't flow the same everywhere, and black holes prove it. According to Einstein, I'm not a fan of his theory of general relativity, gravity doesn't simply pull, it bends space and time itself. Nowhere is this distortion stronger near a black hole, where gravity is so extreme it can make time nearly stand still. If you hovered near its event horizon, your minute could equal centuries on Earth. To you, everything would feel normal, but the universe outside would race ahead. This real phenomenon called gravitational time dilation has been confirmed through observations and precise experiments. It's the reason why clocks on satellites must account for tiny shifts in time caused by Earth's own gravity. Near a black hole, that same principle becomes cosmic in scale. Movies like Interstellar visualize it beautifully, but the science is even more mind-bending. Black holes don't just warp light and matter, they twist the flow of time itself, reminding us how strange and elastic our universe truly is. Fascinating. I have one more goodie for tonight. Every time you make a choice, as I was talking about earlier, here we are, universe springs. The universe may split. Quantum theory suggests another you exists in a parallel world where the opposite decision unfolds. Quantum mechanics allows a radical interpretation of reality. Every decision may produce a branching universe. Instead of one timeline, every possible outcome unfolds across parallel worlds. In one universe, you choose one path, in another, a different version of you follows a different outcome. All possibilities exist simultaneously. This idea is the many worlds interpretation, first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett. It attempts to explain why quantum particles behave probabilistically until measured, and I will go further to say observed. Rather than collapsing to one outcome, the universe may split, preserving every possible result. In this view, reality is not singular, but a vast multiverse of diverging histories. The concept remains theoretical and debated within physics. It does not currently offer experimental proof. Still, it reshapes philosophical questions about identity, choice, and fate by suggesting that every action spawning alternate versions of ourselves across parallel lines. Now, let's take this a step further. As we were reading about deja vu, and many of us on the spiritual side will say we're jumping onto a timeline. You already wrote that time. It's a choice that you didn't take in this reality that you took over there. But now you're choosing unconsciously or consciously to experience it. So if I chose at the birth point to live in struggle, to live for soul growth, and I have to continuously go through this, at some point my soul contract says, well, now you're going to shift to the other potentiality that is existing, where you can jump to and merge with that other self that's already experiencing that life that is opposed to the one that you are just leaping out of. So if I chose the dark chosen path, the dark chosen one, being infiltrating the darkness with my light, living in divine neutrality, but understanding I'm both. And now I want to experience just the light. I can make that conscious decision. It's already playing out in a theater over there that I can merge with and jump to if I chose. Your soul didn't choose one pathway, one story, one timeline. It chose a multitude of things that you already are playing out. It's up to you to consciously reach that point to accept that this no longer works. I'm going to choose a different story. And you're going to jump. Timeline jumping. The earth is already doing it on its own accord. With the Schumann resonance, there are blackouts, there are spikes of light, there's spikes of evolution. People are now waking up. That was them on an old paradigm saying, well, now I'm choosing to wake up consciously. They just time leaped onto another self that already lived on the spectrum of, oh, I'm awakening. I'm already awoke. I already woke up. And that merge happens. And now they are experiencing an exponential amount of information. They're researching, they're growing their consciousness. Everybody goes through this. We determine a set amount of things in our life that we have to grow and learn from. People, places, and things come and go out of our lives. And every time that happens, that major change and catalyst shifts us to another story that we're going to play out and continue from that point on. So if me is already married with a house and a husband and a beautiful life, at some point, something catalyzes that to happen in this reality right now, that I will start merging with the timeline where I'm already there living it. And then I'm going to observe it and collapse it so that I can live it here. Does that make sense? We're bringing everything to us. We're collapsing. We're observing what we want to be our imagination. We're like, okay, that's a self that is already there. Now I'm going to collapse it. Now that I observed it, I'm going to imagine it, embody it, walk it, and feel it, and get to that frequency point of wanting that obtainment. And now we're going to have that lived experience. But that's really a time jump. That's the choice you didn't make. And now you're consciously making a different choice. You no longer want this choice. You already lived it out. You're done. Now you're making a new choice, and now you're going to merge with that other self. I hope I'm making some sense. But that's how I view this. And you're entangled to all your other selves. So you could pull and pluck from any paradigm your higher self can say, well, you need to learn this before you transcend. Well, we're going to merge you onto that timeline. Your story changes when major shifts happen in your life. You're done with this choice. Now you're going to make a new one. Many people just live out the regular 9 to 5 day family, the program that is running. Most people are not shifting choice. They're just staying complacent and doing the same routine each and every day, like Groundhog Day. They're not shifting into any other reality. They're not bouncing in and out of parallel dimensional spaces to be like, oh, wow, I have a choice. So there is a divide. There's little divides and major divides and bigger divides. We're going through a huge shift right now in humanity. And it's up to you and your conscious choice where you're shifting to, how you're shifting, how you're going to get there. But if we're talking about vibration, oscillation, frequencies, is you thinking about your other selves, the other people playing you as a horrible, evil, negative person? So you're going to choose to stagnate yourself and stay in this in that reality, or are you choosing to say, I give compassion, love, and grace to they know not, and move forward? The more frequent resonance you have about gratitude and blessings and love and light, not acknowledging the negatives and the evil that goes on, but not holding space for it, acknowledging it. Okay, yeah, we live in duality and separation, but how am I moving forward if I'm separated or I'm limiting? I'm not seeing the all that is in all things. Everything serves a purpose. And I'm taking everything internally and placing judgments on others. When you do that, you're stagnating your frequency. We all do it because we're human. But when you do it less and you jump further and further and further, your reality shifts so dramatically. People are going to fall away from your life. Places are going to fall away from your life. You might make a move and change your whole dynamic. All is supposed to happen the way it plays out, depending on how and where you merge yourself with to the other reality that's there. I know it's a lot to take in, and you don't need to believe in it. It's just it's theoretical, but I promise you there's so much information that spiritual people that dive into metaphysics, philosophy, the esoteric, have already known a lot of this information. It's just out of tangible evidence in this reality. They are now coming up with experimentations. They are evolving so quickly in a lot of this. And it's just beautiful to see a lot of these articles start coming out. More and more people are being exposed to the potentialities and possibilities that exist. And it's up to us to take it in good faith. Either believe it or not, it's up to you to go and heart align with any of the things I read today. But have the open mind to explore the potentialities and possibilities that are out there for you. If I would have sat here in limitation and separation, I wouldn't have evolved and become the enlightened being that I am. And any one of you could say the same. We're always shifting and evolving, but it's up to you, the pace that it happens in, the course that it happens in, and the direction that it happens in. And sometimes really hard things do happen to us to catalyze us to make the changes. The universe forces us. Your higher self is like, you're not on the right path, or the path is just about to end and we need to course correct you. So a lot of course correction comes with a lot of pain and a lot of hard lessons that come in, but once you learn them or once you acknowledge them, you can move on. Or passively just, okay, it's great. Bye. And move on with your life. But evolution is a really strange and beautiful thing. This world is a crazy paradigm, and however you choose to experience it and observe it is the reality that you get. So make it a good one. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within, be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths, light that path forward. If you would like to do a painting, I walk you through it. If you'd like to purchase anything, please email me. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you got anything out of it, if you heart align, or you would like to just Amish mindset and help. Please be safe, be seen. I hope you'll have a beautiful night or day wherever you are in the world, and have a blessed and beautiful one. Bye for now.